What's up? What's up? Welcome to Laced Up Podcast. I'm Crew Wakely. We got our boy Ben Bywater on today, also known as Ben H2O. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you need to. Let's get this boy to 10K. No, but honestly, I'm super excited to do this. One of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast is because I want to have athletes on where we can get to know them. Growing up, I totally idolized college athletes. Never had the opportunity to really know them on a personal, individual level. I would follow them on Instagram, try to follow them the most I could, but it wasn't the same. One of the problems with athletes and being behind a camera, behind a microphone, they're always being asked questions where we pretty much know the answer they're going to give because you're either representing a team or, you're representing the school you're at or whatever entity you're at. It doesn't really allow you to speak freely and be your personal self. And so my goal is to just have a super low-key, relaxed podcast where we can get to know individual athletes on a personal level where they don't feel like there's pressure to say certain things or answer a certain way. So without further ado, a little intro. We got Ben Bywater with us today. I'm just going to give you guys a little intro on him. He had 215 career tackles here at BYU so far. He was the New Mexico Bowl defensive MVP. Back-to-back years, he's led the team in tackles. He was all-conference second team. He was a Lot Impact Trophy Player of the Week, Independent Defensive Rookie of the Year as a freshman, All-Independent First Team as a freshman, and above all else, he's an Eagle Scout.
Appreciate you, boy. Honestly, I'm stoked to be here, and it's gonna be a good time, bro. Like I'm excited to chop it up.
Dude, it's gonna be a blast. When I decided I was gonna do this podcast, first person that came to my mind was you.
Oh, dude, I'm
not even kidding.
You're the man.
Because I'm like, let's see, who are my buddies I know? Like, I want to get someone I'm comfortable with that I can kind of break the ice with. And I was like, Ben Bywater's the dude. Who doesn't love Ben Bywater? I love Ben Bywater.
Dude, you're the boy.
Do you remember how we met? Do you remember the first time we met?
I do. It was that Deseret News, like it was that all-state team that they formed between like all classes.
Yeah, it was at that photo shoot.
I pulled it. I'm like, this boy is here rocking it. And you look good, dude. Did you have the long hair at that time?
I had the long hair. Hey, we're gonna have to get some pictures of that. We're gonna have to throw some slides up of the long hair and the pictures of that.
Inspiration, dude. Your hair was gas.
It
was
for
a long time too.
I did. I tried to rep it out.
Did you have it junior and senior year? You cut it senior year.
I cut it senior year. I started dating a girl who was kind of a bad influence on me, and she made me cut my hair.
Dude, that's the rule I've learned. Like, never fold.
Yeah,
never fold with the hair for a shorty. But like,
I married her, so it
you're
worked
married.
out.
Yeah. You married her, so it worked. But hey, it hasn't worked out for me quite yet. So
hey, it's all right. You still got the flow going. We love it.
Still got it.
But dude, give us a little intro on yourself. Where are you from? Tell us your story. How you got to BYU.
Yeah. So like, you went to Jordan. I went to Olympus. And if you're watching, Olympus is in Salt Lake. It's in Holiday. So it's dope. Like growing up there, I grew up in Skyline Boundaries. So I played Skyline Little League.
I didn't know that.
For a few years. So like I was playing Skyline Little League and I was X-Men. Like I was
a big boy.
Yeah, I was a big boy. Like I always played O-line. Like my first year I played nose guard and center, bro. Like I was number 47. Like
love it.
Had the little cross, the H-mask or whatever, but it was good. Like growing up doing that, and then in 5th grade, we lived in Olympus Boundaries. So like I went to school with all the Olympus kids, but then we'd play football with all the Skyline kids. So like my 5th or 6th grade year, and we're like, the Olympus coach like called my dad and was like, hey, like we want Ben Bywater like to come play with us. Like he's like already going to school with these kids. Like let's just make it happen. So I went over to Olympus, loved it, was still X-Men. I was still on the O-line. Like I played tackle all the way up until freshman year.
Oh wow.
So like I wasn't like fat by any means. I was just like bigger than all the other kids, right?
That's
so,
the
like,
problem with like,
yes,
you get these dudes who are just taller, and because they're taller, they weigh more.
Exactly.
And you got these dudes who are like skinny, but they're tall.
Yeah.
Now they're X-Men.
Yeah.
That
so
weight
like,
limit thing.
So. Exact same. So that was me. Like I was just kind of like a big kid, and like in 8th grade, and like I didn't even really like football that much when I was a young bull.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I liked it, but then I was like, I didn't really want to play when I was in 7th grade, just because I was like figuring it out. Like my dad didn't play college football. My dad didn't play high school football.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and my mom is athletic as well. But like for me, like I was just trying to figure it out. Like I was navigating. I was like, do I want to be a skater? Do I want to like just, fish, or like do I want to be like an outdoorsman? And then like 8th grade, my mom is like, I want you to do wrestling. And I'm like, no way. Like I didn't want to put the singlet on. I was so self-conscious. I'm like, I'm not wrestling. Like I'm not doing it. My mom was like, okay, like I'll like hook it up. Like I'll pay you to wrestle. And I was like, okay. Like, so
right. You're going to pay me. I'll do a lot of things,
you're going to pay me, say less. So go in there and wrestle, and like that was the best thing for me. That was like the first hard thing I've ever done in my life. was wrestling. And like every day, 3 hours. And like, and you hear it all the time. Like the wrestlers, like, you know, the conditioning and stuff, like hardest thing I've ever done. Like it really, like that was like the first time I was like, wow, like this is what it takes. Right.
Dude. Yeah. I was just thinking about the other day, wrestlers, like it's a different breed. Like, and also I'm convinced like once you wrestle, you just have a 6-pack for like 10 years afterwards. I don't know, like like tight ends at Utah State when I was there, like they were wrestlers when they were in high school. Yeah. And even though they were 240, they still had a 6-pack. And I'm like, this is you're just built different when you wrestle.
Oh, like it's like their muscles have fingers, dude. Yeah. I swear. Or their fingers have muscles, my bad. But yeah, bro, like so I wrestled, and like after that, like my body kind of changed, right? It's like 10th grade, like that's when I kind of grew into myself, like hit puberty. Right. And then I just started like balling. Like I just started playing well, and like I was always like a physical player, but I played O-line, so like they put me at running back, you know, my sophomore year. And like at Olympus, like the culture was like they didn't really play like the young bulls. Like you were, I'm sure, on varsity as a freshman or like a sophomore, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So like that wasn't how it was at Olympus. Like, and granted, like, you know, I tell myself like hindsight 2020, like I could have played varsity as a freshman, but like, you know, it's always like that, right?
You always think that way in the moment.
I always think that way.
That's good though.
So yeah, dude, like my sophomore year playing well, just getting like some special teams reps on varsity. But then like my junior year, that's kind of when like I broke out, like but I got injured that year. So like I was big, I was 6'2", I was long, and they liked it because like, okay, he's fast. Right. But I got injured, like I lacerated my kidney. Oh wow! I didn't even know that. Yeah, so my junior year, I only played 4 games. For real? And you know how it is. Like that's your most important year.
You gotta have a good junior year.
You went stupid junior year. I remember. Like you went ballistic junior year.
I surprised myself junior year. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm watching these highlights. I'm like, who is this Tarzan running around?
Bro, I remember I told my girlfriend after my first game, I played really well, and I was like, I told her not to come to the game because I was nervous. I was like, please don't come. Like it's gonna be embarrassing. Yeah. And then I told her, I was like, don't expect that every game. That's not like, that was kind of out of normal. And then it just got better and better. But yeah.
You balled, bro.
Junior year is important for sure.
Yeah, that's like the most important year for athletes. So I only played 4 games. Wow. So like, I'm like I always wanted to play college football. So that happened, and I was like, my dreams are over. Like, I'm not playing college football. So like I'm like put my head down. I was like studying for the ACT. Right, like I'm like, all right, well,
you gotta get that academic scholarship.
I'm like, here we go. Like I'm just gonna go do investment banking or something like that. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, I like ran for SBO. Like I was just trying to like fill my resume, to get credentialed so like I could get accepted into like a good school. Right. And dude, out of nowhere, I get this call from Kalani, and this was like 2016. So Kalani had just gotten hired. Right. Out of nowhere, I get a call from the BYU coaching staff like, "Hey, come down." And I'm like, "There's, like, you good? We just gonna hang out?" Like, I'm like, I'm cool with it. Like, I liked BYU growing up, so I go down. Kalani pulls me in his office, and he's like, "Hey, dude, like, we want to offer you, but not all the coaches are on board because you don't have all the film. Like, you only played 4 games." And I'm like starstruck. I'm like, "There's no way." Right. Because at my high school, Olympus, like nobody got recruited. Like I was the first scholarship kid in 19 years. Wow. You know, I didn't have an Austin Kafensis like that kind of paved the way. Like you had a Jordan. So, and there was always boys like Jordan always like.
Right. There was always a couple like 2 or 3 dudes that were just dogs.
Yeah. So like we didn't have that at Olympus. Like it was kind of like just the rich white boys from the east side. Like don't take those guys seriously. Right. So like I'm like, there's no way. And it was dope, dude. Like he says that to me, and I go home, and I'm like, "Okay, this is dope. I just got to get film." Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm gonna play rugby and go get like just some rugby film so they can see that I'm physical and like because a lot of attributes like transfer over. Utah State hears that BYU's interested in me and like offers me the next week. Wow. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I didn't even play that much, but it was so dope, dude. It worked out so like, and you know how like 1 = 3, 3 = 5. So. Yeah. I played that rugby game or played that rugby season. Yeah. My dad was like there with a camcorder filming all my stuff. Heck yeah. And then we sent it to Kalani, and then they offered me off that.
Dude, that's crazy. I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah, dude.
So, but you had offers from like some Pac-12 schools. Like you had Wazoo, ASU. You didn't?
I didn't have a single Pac-12 offer.
Washington? None of those?
Nothing.
So what offers did you have?
So it was first Utah State, then like Air Force, Fresno.
The typical Utah offers. Like I was in that Mountain West realm. Right. And the issue kind of was for me was like I didn't have film. So like
and like, they start playing off of each other. It's like like the hot new girl at school. Like they get interest from one boy that all the boys are like, hey, this girl's got to be hot.
That's exactly how it goes, right?
Exactly how it goes. So like, yeah, dude, I like, they weren't pulling the trigger because like I had 3-4 games of film.
Mm-hmm.
So I got lucky. BYU offered me, and like, how the game is. They play the sales tactic. Like,
oh yeah,
hey, dude, our spots are filling up. You gonna commit or what? Right.
Yep.
And so guys at Utah, Oregon State, UCLA, like they kind of knew. Like I was getting looked at, but it was all the same story. Like, hey man, you don't got the film.
Right.
Like, so I was like, at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? These guys are investing in me. Like, I'm not gonna go play the game and risk. Like I fell for it for sure, but like it worked out for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that how you were?
Dude, mine was a little different because so I got offered first from like Weber and SU were like holding out as long as they could because they knew the second they offered. Now, like you said, now Utah State's gonna come in.
Yep.
I didn't get a ton of attention from BYU out of high school, but what ended up happening is like Utah State offered me, and I was like, dope, like that's pretty cool. And then I was like gonna kind of maybe see. I was kind of limited because, I mean, they knew I was going on a mission, so like I had some out of like the San Jose, Fresno, those schools, Nevada, but they didn't really want to mess with the mission thing. And so it really came down to like, I remember one day I was just at lunch, and I didn't really talk to anybody about it. I was just like, yeah, I mean, Utah State's my biggest offer. I like it there.
Was this junior year?
This was senior year. I didn't get any offers till my senior year.
Okay.
And so like I'm just like driving one day at lunch with Kimber, and I'm like, hey, just a second, pull out my phone, just call coach. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna commit. And they're like, dope, let me get the other coaches. They offered me, and then they like a week later they text me, hey, like, we need to know. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll let you know later.
Yeah.
And I was just like driving. I was like, I'm not gonna go anywhere else. So I just like called them, like, yeah, let's do it. So
dope.
But what I didn't realize is Fessy kind of knew he was gonna be going to BYU. It was that year when he transitioned, and so he was the one that offered me at Weber. So he was kind of trying to get me to hold off, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm not picking Weber over Utah State. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I really liked Fessy in the recruiting process. But I was like, dude, I got to go to Utah State. Yeah. But like 2 weeks after I committed, he made the switch, and he's like, that's kind of why I was trying to get you to hold off. But I'm like, I don't think the staff there really appreciated me at the time like they do now. So that was kind of how it all worked out for me. And then I went on my mission and came back, and everything, was what it was. But yeah. And then you went on a mission, right?
Yeah, I did.
It was Guatemala?
Yeah, Guatemala.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was dope. The mission was dope. Like, the best thing for me. And everyone's going to say that, right? Like, so cliche. Right. But, like, I'm like a BYU football commit. I'm on top of the world thinking I'm man. And then I go out there and just get pummeled. Just like Mike Tyson KO.
Oh, my gosh, dude. I remember that. Like,
and it's like he's not letting up.
No.
Like, I'm just on the floor, and he is just going at it. And I'm like, come on now.
Because you go from, like, at least for me, most confidence in the world. You're the man in high school. You got offers. Like, that's, like, the best thing you can do in high school, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then you go to the mission. No one cares.
Nobody cares.
And it's just, like, I remember I was so humbled. Like, it took me a while to get it back afterwards, honestly.
Oh, no, same. A year minimum, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, how was that coming back? Like, in what ways do you feel like it helped you? And what ways do you feel like it kind of hurt you?
Dude, so, yeah, like, it's funny because, like, looking back, I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful I went because I did learn a bunch, and it was so dope. I genuinely think if your plan is go to the NFL, like, you are, and it takes a long time for people because I wasn't that dialed in, like, when I was 18, 19, 20.
Right.
I look at guys like Cody Barton, that went to Utah. That dude was dialed from the time he was, like, a sophomore in high school.
Right.
Eating, training, football.
Yeah.
And so he just, Utah, 4 years, drafted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, I don't think I had that in, like, guy. I didn't know, right? Mm-hmm. So I go on my mission, come home, and I'm still just kind of lollygagging.
Right.
Like, I'm like, yeah, ball's dope, football's dope, but, like, I'm just having fun. Like, I'm doing finance, I'm doing school.
Right.
And, yeah, like, for me, is like, it really took me, like, a year to kind of get that, like, dog, like, that, like, like, I'm not going to be messed with.
Right.
Like, I'm not just buddy. Like, I love you, like, you're my guy, but, like,
right,
it's macho-y macho, like,
dude,
I'm gonna go get mine. Is that how it was for you?
Dude, it took me, like, genuinely, I don't feel like I got that till recently. Like, it was, you come back, and here's what I think the problem is. I never knew the NFL was attainable for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm to a point where it's like, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to go to the NFL. Like, there's dudes in the NFL who have less natural ability than me right now.
Yeah.
It's like, And so that's when I really realized it's like, dude, that's so doable. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hard.
Hard,
very hard.
Yeah, understood.
But it's like, there's no reason why I shouldn't try to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, 100%.
It's funny because you glorify, like you were just saying, you glorify these guys growing up, like they're God status, like you're a genetic anomaly, right? The guys in the NFL, but like as you get older, you realize that, hey, that's just work ethic. Like that dude's a stud for sure, blessed.
Yeah.
By all means, but like he works hard, you know, and like that's what's gotten him his opportunities.
Right.
And that's been cool to see. It's like, hey man, like college football really is just you get out what you put in. And I'm convinced. My first 2 years, like I was going through the motions. I'm like, yeah, like, and I was a guy that like they kind of brought in like wanting to succeed, you know, like I'm not going to sit here and like, you know, beat around the bush and say I had to pave my way, I had to earn. I did have to earn every opportunity. But at the end of the day, like the coaches in their minds have like an idea of you, like, hey, this guy has potential or this guy doesn't.
Right.
So they looked at me like this guy has potential. So like that's like you got to win that battle first, right? So I won that. So but like my first 2 years, dude, I was just messing around, fly fishing every day, just chilling, like
it's like you don't realize the opportunity that you have. It's like the urgency isn't there.
Exactly. Exactly. So I fortunately had that flip. This is my second shoulder surgery. After my first one, I was like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, why am I just like, you know, messing around? Like, why? Let's actually like put our foot down and like make something happen out of this. So it was at that moment, dude, like it all switched for me. And like, you know, that year had 100 tackles. This year, 100 tackles again. And like, you know, like it's just been, it's been so dope to see.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like I know you said you're a finance major, but I'm assuming your goal is to go to the league.
100%. Yeah, like 100%. Like, I mean, the dream is still alive for me. You know, like, and for you too. Like the dream is still there. Like you're doing it. You're playing college football. Like, go make it happen. So I'm gonna throw the whole kitchen sink at it, man. Like I'm locked and loaded. Like that's 1,000% my goal. But like at the end of the day, I understand I could tear my ACL tomorrow and never be the same. You know, get cut from a roster and like be back on my couch. So at that point, like I think about it like this. Like guys want to go to the NFL for what? Recognition, status, money, right? Like respect. Right. So those are all things that like I'm like, look, I want to get that through playing football. Yeah. But if that goes south, I want to have those 4 things doing something else. Right. Like, you know, how, like whether that's doing sales, doing investment bank, doing consulting, like running hedge funds, doing something like that. Like I'm just like, you can fly private with or without football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it feels a lot better when everybody knows you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
No, 100%.
So is that so? What about you? What major? What's your major?
Finance.
Okay, dope.
But like,
you're gonna apply to the program then, or were you doing finance up at Utah State?
Yeah, I was doing finance up at Utah State, and they say it's like super hard to get into the finance program here.
You'll be fine, bro. We'll get you dialed in.
Dude, I'm having a really hard time with this whole school thing though. I hate it. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, because you weren't doing school the past few months.
Dude, I wasn't doing school for the past few months, and like,
yeah, bro,
like just completely raw. The amount of money I made without a degree is like, why would I like?
Yeah.
You know, it's either I'm going like my first goal, let's get to the NFL. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, I'm going back to what I was doing because I'm making more money doing that than, you know.
You enjoy it though.
I do. I enjoy it. I think a lot of athletes do like the sales game because it's very similar mindset wise, and like you got to go earn it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like you
competitive.
Yeah.
You're in teams. You're like competing against others.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's like you get to control your outcome. It's like, dude, if I want to make more money, I go put more time in. I go knock more doors. I go like sharpen my sword, perfect my craft. You know what I mean? Versus like I'm not very good at like, hey, be here from these hours. You know, I'm gonna give you a list of things to do. It's like just let me do me. I want to go be successful. Yeah. So
let's not knocking doors is tough. Like I've done my fair share of blitzes. Like that is not an easy task.
It's not.
So dude, hats off to you. Like
you gotta find a way to enjoy it for sure.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's miserable. And I mean, you got it.
But yeah,
it is what it is.
The reward is worth it.
But one more question about BYU. So what, like, was it just because that was your biggest offer, or what made you?
Yeah, coming out of high school.
Yeah.
So coming to BYU, like I definitely grew up a BYU fan. Both my parents went to BYU. But like as you get into high school, man, like I grew up like in Salt Lake, nobody's BYU fan. Like especially where I'm from, like I was like one of like maybe 5 to 10 kids who
you're a couple minutes from the U.
Exactly. And so like, you know, I got to a point where I was like BYU's like cool, but it was mainly Kalani, and like I was like, hey, Kalani, And for me, like, I almost committed to Utah State
Really?
because they had Frank Miley.
Yeah, he's the one who recruited me.
Yeah,
Love that dude.
Love that dude. Like,
Yeah.
the utmost respect for that guy.
Yeah, nothing but good things.
Yeah, nothing but good things. And it was just like, but same thing. I'm like, I was looking at the Utah State staff. I'm like, the instability. It's a step. Like, I feel like it's a stepping stone. Like, coach is gonna go there, have 2 great seasons, go to a P5.
100%.
And you like were a product of like that.
Yes.
Well, that was what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, like, I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, I will be like happier with myself if I like bet on myself and go to BYU and like make it happen. Like, I'd be much more like content with my head on my pillow at night, knowing, hey, I went to BYU and I played well, wasn't amazing, as if I would have gone to Utah State and been a baller.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
100%.
I want to go play with the big boys, see if I can hang, like, play P5 teams and like really thug it out. Not saying Utah State's not good. Like, they had some great years. I'm just, for me personally, like, that's what I had to do. Dude,
it's a different feeling because it was me and my dad always talked about this growing up. Yeah. It's like, do you want to go be big fish, little pond, or do you want to go, be an, I don't want to say average, but an average dude at a bigger school? And it's like, I always believed you want to be the big fish in the little pond, but the older I get and the more I see the way things really work, dude, I think like you go be an average D lineman at Alabama, like no one really knows who you are, but like doesn't matter. You're getting drafted. It's like drafted. I don't. Like they're still gonna draft that dude over the baller at Utah State or the baller at San Jose. Like it's just
true. That's just how it is.
That's how it is. So
and like honestly, I feel like you being in that environment will push you to become better.
Exactly.
Whereas you get complacent as a big fish in a small pond, you're the man.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
So 100%. Okay, question for you more on the personal side of things, so a little background if you guys don't know, my wife cheered at the U while I was on my mission, and just because there's Utah and BYU, that does not stop the game. I'll tell you that much. She was always down hanging out with the BYU football players. I was for sure, that wasn't going to work out, but it did. But rumor has it, you're the ladies' man on the street.
Oh, dude, that's the false rumors, man. False rumors.
No, dude, I think one of the biggest things you would, and it was on BYU's Instagram the other day, they're like, who's got the best style on the team? Ben Bywater.
Oh, dude, I appreciate that.
Where do you get your inspo?
Oh, dude, I mean, for me, like, I think style is just kind of a reflection of, like, your personality and, like, who you are. And, like, for me, like, I was never, like, always, like, the most stylish kid growing up. Like, and, like, I just kind of, I feel like what I wear is just, like, attainable for anybody. Like, and it's just different. Like, my style, like, I like mixing it up, too. Like, right now, like, I just wear what I wear. And, like, but, like, when I want to, like, transition, like, when I get a little bit older, like, let's get a little bit more business casual. Right. Let's mix it up. Let's be a little bit more presentable.
Right.
But, dude, I just think it's fun to go mix it up. And, like, when you're wearing fun stuff, you feel better. Like, I'm not the type that can just, like, go to the gas station looking, busted.
Right.
Like, I always like feeling good. Like, it's just like what Prime time says, like, look good, feel good, play good. So
100%. Dude, I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, you look good all the time, bro. Like, come on now.
I try to, but it's different. I feel like I look fine.
Yeah.
But, like, you got, like, a different type of swag to you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Dude, here's a question.
How is it being married and, like, dressing? Like, do you feel like now that you're married, you can't wear aggressive stuff?
It's true. You dress differently when you're married because it's like you're trying to look presentable and you want to look good.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm not trying to, like, turn no heads. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So it's a little different. When you get married, like, just because you're married, you feel like you need to act more mature.
Yeah.
Which I still don't most of the time. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I need to, like, at least look like.
Yeah. Like you know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah. I mean, I try to at least fake it. I really don't, but we're faking it.
Oh, dude, aren't we all? No, dude, that's fun.
Where do you feel like you're? Because I know, like, one of the hardest things for people to gain is, like, self-confidence.
Yeah.
What are some things you feel like you do that help you with that?
That's a great question, and for me, dude, it's work ethic. Like, you probably feel the same way, bro. Like, this year, like, I didn't even get that nervous for games. And even last year I didn't. But, like, this is a perfect example. Like, I had just, my redshirt year, I played in 3 games, had 11 tackles, like, started some special teams. I'm feeling great. Okay? Yeah. I'm feeling great. That offseason, I have the worst offseason of my life. I'm dating a girl. I'm just messing around, just, like, not taking it seriously. And I'm thinking everything's just going to come to me. Yeah. The 2020 season where Zach went crazy, we got COVID year.
Yeah.
I pull up to fall camp thinking, like, hey, I'm going to play well. Worst fall camp of my life, dude. Like,
really?
Played horrible, didn't know the playbook, out of shape. Like, and I didn't work hard, and I didn't have any confidence in myself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I pulled up day one. They're like, "Okay, you're a 2, but you can earn a 1 spot. Like, go compete."
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they say that, right? But like, who knows? By the end of fall camp, I'm like a 3.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm like barely scraping by on special teams. Just like the coaches had expectations, and I didn't live up to them.
Wow.
Boom, tear my shoulder. Thank heavens. I'm like, good. Like, this was like I botched it. Like, I'm mad at myself. I'm kicking myself. I'm like, dude, I ruined this whole year. So that next off season, never worked harder. Like,
Really?
head down, 9 hours of sleep, 2 lifts, 6 meals, like locked in. You know what I'm saying? And like transformed my body.
Dude, I was gonna say I noticed that because
Yeah.
like when you started posting on Instagram, I'm like, damn, this dude's big.
Yeah,
Like,
I appreciate that. And
I was like, you looked significantly different going into that year.
yes. And so like I had to though. I was so fired up at everything, and like, dude, I was going through a lot of personal stuff too. And just like for me, like I was, dude, they always say like, how'd you get so big? I'm like, depression. I'm like fighting demons, man. Like
you were that dude in the gym with the hood on and no headphones. You don't ever talk to that guy.
No, so I'm saying, so like it was so good for me, like bulk up, like get big, and like that next year, dude, I had like there was not a sliver of doubt when like that fall came around, like I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I
100%.
was ready to go, locked and loaded, like, and nobody could take that away from me because like I had worked my tail off all off season. So like, and that whole season, never got nervous. Open field tackle. And that was like my kryptonite my freshman year. I'm like, dude, I do not like don't throw a
Right.
swing route. I do not want to meet him in the flat.
Yeah.
That next year, dude, I was like, throw the swing route all day. Like let's run it, dude. Like me and you in the alley.
Dude, isn't it crazy how
Yeah.
your mind can switch
Yes.
when you are properly prepared?
No, dude, it's like
No, night and day difference.
night and day.
And it's like you said, like I've been in that spot.
Yeah.
You're mad at yourself because you're like, I'm in this situation. Nothing I can do to change my situation, but I know I didn't prepare.
Yep.
And it feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Awful. Okay, wait. So your first year at Utah State was when? 2020.
20 COVID year.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you did you redshirt that year?
Yeah, I mean it was COVID, so
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah,
sorry,
I didn't
okay.
I didn't play that year.
Okay. And then you played last year too.
Uh
Yeah, because you were in the LA Bowl, right?
yeah, 21. Yeah, so not
21,
this season,
21.
but the one before that, yeah.
Okay.
21. I played 4 games, special team stuff, redshirted. That was a very frustrating year for me. That was the year where I felt like I did do a lot of things to prepare,
Yep.
and it wasn't shaking out, and I felt like I was playing really well, and that was kind of what led to me leaving Utah State. Just without getting into too much of the details, it was just like, and when I talked to the staff here, it was like, hey, if I'm the best player and I'm on the field, cool. If I'm not the best player and I'm not playing well and I'm not on the field,
Yeah.
cool. Like,
But let's a meritocracy. Like
Yes.
let's get the best 11 out there.
right. It's
100%.
like, dude, like I can take that on the chin. And I was just talking to Coach Hill the other day, and it was
Yep.
like, he's like, we'll shoot you straight. He's like, might not be what you want to hear, but I'm like, dude, that's
Love
what
it.
I want.
Love it.
Because like nothing is more irritating than being told something and it not happening.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Especially from like, it's not fair to athletes
Nope.
because like everything rides on feedback from your coaches. Hey, what do you need me to do to get better? Do this. Okay, you do it. Oh, what do you need me to do better? Do this. But if they're just BSing you the whole time, it's like you can never get anywhere.
Exactly.
That's kind of where I felt like the wheels were just turning.
Exactly.
And I had to get out.
You're swimming up current.
Yeah.
And
So
dude, like, let's not knock. Like, people are like hating on this transfer portal stuff, dude. Like, people don't realize, dude. Like, you put in hours and hours and hours into this stuff, and like, if you have some coaches that don't believe in you, dude, go take care of number one. Get like,
right.
it's just like a relationship. You can't keep investing stuff, and like, if it's not gonna pan out, like,
Dude.
same thing, bro.
I'm
I'm happy for you.
dude, 100%. I realized it took me a minute to realize. So like high school, I think was in a very good culture. Coach Kerr, he's at Corner Candy now, but he was at Jordan at the time. He did a really good job of like developing culture there, and so we were all looking out for each other. You get to college, it's different. Like, dude, everybody's just trying to get to the next level. Like, they don't care about you. No one cares about you like you care about you.
Yeah.
But especially in college, it's like you really got to look out for yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to like do you.
And it's the unfortunate truth, bro.
It really is. And dude, like the transfer portal is such a blessing because you really go where you're wanted. Like the school isn't important, and like it's the coach, right? So you go somewhere for the coach. That coach leaves and you're stuck there. Like that's just not fair to the player.
And you that happened to you, huh?
Yeah, happened to me twice. So I went there and
Miserable, bro.
I went through 3 coaching staffs
Dude.
before I'd used my first year eligibility. So
Yeah, man. Like I was just saying, for me, dude, like the confidence, it all stems from the work ethic. I don't know. I mean, like I said, and well, here's the thing. I've been in that same situation too. Like this past year, I was kind of fighting that same demon.
Yeah.
I'm coming off a 100 tackle season.
Right.
And then the spring, I'm told, hey, man, you're rotating.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I played all 13 games. I stayed healthy. I had 100 tackles my first year. Like, you're telling me, like, I'm not the guy? Like,
right.
And, like, dude, it was a good heat check for me, too. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, okay, whatever. Go to spring. I'm balling. Fall camp. I felt like I'm playing really well. Game 1, the first 11 dudes run out on the field, and I'm on the sideline.
Right.
And, dude, that was, like, talk about frustrating.
Yeah.
You know that demon, man.
Dude, you got to have that mental fortitude because it's going to happen at some point, you know,
happen.
and you have to be able to respond to that.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're screwed. You'll just get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes, as annoying as it is, coaches will do that stuff just to test you.
Just to test you.
And it's like,
are you soft, or are you gonna
right.
respond?
And you really, like, you have to. Your mind has to be in such a good place. Yeah. You have to be so mentally strong when you're going through all that, because you're just gonna have the kitchen sink thrown at you.
Exactly.
And it really is kind of crazy. Like, there's, it's one of those things you can't prepare for, and you don't really know what it's like until you've been there.
For sure.
And you just kind of, you got to buckle up.
You got to thug it out when you get there.
You really do.
Dude, like I was saying, that my 2020, it was like a fairy tale, bro. Like,
right.
I had a season ender. Nobody knew who I was. Come in, start all 13 games, ball.
Right.
Fairy tale, dude. I had like no pushback during the season. Then this year, I'm like, think I have it all lined up for me. Boom, I go in, work my tail off.
Right.
And it's like, you know, I was on both sides of it. I go in there, I'm not starting. I'm playing well, but like, you know, and then I'm going through all this adversity. And then, like, dude, at the end of the season, like, just the way it all panned out, still led the team, like, had that pick six in the bowl game. Like,
that was dope.
It was dope, dude. It was just like, man, like, it all came full circle. Like,
did you have 3 picks this year?
I did, yeah.
That's awesome.
It was dope, dude.
And
Like,
your first pick was this year, too, right? You didn't have any picks the year before.
Yeah. And, like, dope. High school had no interceptions.
Really?
But, dude, like, last year, I would manifest every week. Like, I'd write it on my mirror. Interception. Like, I was, like, praying for it to happen, dude. And, like, never happened for me last year. But, like, this year, like, I just think, yeah, but your preparation, dude, like, the football gods are going to reward you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
So, dude, what advice do you have for, like, younger dudes looking to play at the next level? Like, what are some things they need to be doing now to get ready?
I think, number one, if you're young, like a freshman, sophomore, like, get on radars early. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's easier said than done, but, like, go to every camp, shoot your film out. But do it kind of like with some, you know, don't like go in there like shooting, you know, blanks in a dark room.
Right.
Like, you know, like calculate your steps, but like I think just getting big, looking the part matters.
That's huge.
It matters, dude. Like eye test, you know what I'm saying? Like you go to one of these camps, like you got to kind of look the part, you know what I'm saying?
That's like step one.
Step one.
Yeah.
Like get a dope haircut.
You could suck at football, but if you look the part, you're going to get more attention than
100%.
You know, like it's sad to say, but it's the facts.
Get a dope haircut, wear the right cleats, wear the right, you know what I'm saying? Like, compliment your physique. Right. And then, yeah, dude, just go. I think I wish I would have worked harder in high school. Like, what I'm doing now, I think, like, my recruiting would have done better. So, like, dude, the gym, really try and get your craft right, you know? Like, and then at the end of your senior year, you can live with the consequences. Like, hey, I put all my eggs in this basket and it panned out or it didn't.
Right.
At least, you know, like you said, dude, you can take that on the chin all day and, like, walk away, chin up, chest out, saying, hey, I did it. But, like, for those who aren't getting recruited, like, dope, you're even that much more prepared to go compete.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, that was, like, for me, I didn't value camps enough. Not even close.
Yeah.
I remember, like, they have those, like, Nike opening camps. Yeah. And I got, like, one of those, like, general invite things to it, and I was like, this is sick. I had no idea what it was, though. I didn't know what the Elite 11 was, none of that. And so I show up having not thrown a ball in, like, since the end of the season. It's been, like, this is, like, March.
No way.
I kid you not.
You did it?
Dude, I didn't understand what it was.
You just pulled up.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go run a 40. It's basketball season. I ran like a 4.8. Like, I was in basketball shape.
That's
like
so
10
funny.
pounds overweight. But, like.
And you went for quarterback, obviously, yeah?
Yeah. So okay. I pull up. I remember the first drill they had us do, take a drop. They're going to send, like, you know, a mock rusher at you. You dip your shoulder, flip your hips, and throw. Yeah. Sailed it literally 10 yards over this dude's head, like, hit the stands. And I was like, oh, man, I probably should have prepped for this. Like,
oh, dude.
But, yeah, I didn't, like, dude, as annoying as it is, you got to play the game. The camps, they matter. You have to be willing to do
It's
that.
like dating. You got to play the game, dude. They're going to give you a little attention. You got to go leverage that attention over. I mean, maybe I'm dating toxically, but But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all, you got to leverage it. You got to, hey, like, I don't know, like, here, you know how it is, dude.
Dude, it really is. And it's kind of, yeah, it's all like that. All of life, everything is the same, right? Dating is the same, recruiting, everything, like getting a job, it's all, everything corresponds, right? Everybody has the same human behaviors. And you just have to know how to play the game. Whatever game you're in, learn how to play it.
Yeah, go be a sponge, learn it. So that's my advice for the young bulls, man. Like, just go out there, have fun first and foremost, bro. Don't put too much pressure on it. Like, I was lucky, dude. I had such a dope time in high school, and it was so fun. But, like, at the same time, go ball. Like, don't be scared, dude. Like, I remember when I was at my Nike camp, this Oregon player was there. He's like, and they did, like, the one-on-ones, bro. And I'm like, I'm in the back. I'm like, don't call on me. Like, dude, I don't. Because back then, they were getting exposed on Twitter. Like, you know, like, and I was like, I cannot get exposed on Twitter. Like, I cannot fly up to Seattle, come back. Everyone's clowning on me. So I'm, like, hanging out in the back. This Oregon player looks at me. He's like, scared money don't make money, Bywater. I'm like, oh, jeez. I gotta get up there. So I get up there. I'm like, here we go. And I was so stressed. But, you know, it went fine. I didn't make the cut up on YouTube.
Oh,
so.
Man. No, that's so true, though. Like, at the end of the day, you really just got to enjoy it.
Enjoy it, dude. Have fun. Like, it's so easy to lose your love of the game just because, like, especially at this level where you're in high school, like, a coach makes it sour for you, dude. And you don't, like, the sport you fell in love with as a young buck, like, you don't want to, like, have a sour taste for the rest of your life.
Right.
Dude, enjoy it. And, like, if it's in your cards to play college football, it's in your cards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or, like, but at the same time, dude, like, there's a lot of guys that prove me wrong that go freaking beat the odds, and, like, that's so dope, too. Like,
it's true.
So there's, like, I think there's a yin-yang, a push and pull to everything, but have fun, dude, first and foremost, bro.
You got to. Because at the end of the day, if you're having fun, why are you doing it?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, 100%. Dude, question for you. Are you a rituals or like a superstitious guy at all?
Not crazy with the rituals. What about you?
Dude, I'm a routine guy, I would say.
Okay, yeah, I get behind that.
I think it kind of comes back to the confidence. I'd like have things I do every day, which give me confidence. So like leading up to a game, I have certain things I do that like give me confidence. And,
like what?
And, like I'm trying to think like certain socks. Wear the same socks all the time.
For real?
I've kind of gotten away from that, but I know in high school I was super bad about it.
Okay.
Same socks, same towel, like everything was a certain way. Now I've kind of gotten away from that and just like try to be more loose about it. One thing I've noticed about you, and maybe it's not, but do you always wear black cleats?
Oh, yeah, so I was just going to say that. I'm superstitious about my black cleats. I always wear my black cleats, and then I wear, like, the little wrist guards, too.
Yeah?
Like, I always wear that.
Okay. Is there a reason for that, or you just...
Honestly, the way it went, like, I have a boy that plays at Bama. Shout out Cam Latu.
Big Cam,
dude. Such a boy. Like, such a good dude,
He's a good guy.
Such a good dude. And I was just, like, I always tune into their games just because I'm like, this is good football. Like, I'm serious. And all those boys are rocking black cleats. Yeah. And they look big and fast. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it out.
They are big and fast.
I'm like, maybe it's just the cleats. So I'm like, I'm going to buy some black cleats.
I love it.
But, you know, those guys are just big and fast. But, so yeah, that's why I started rocking them. And like, I just kind of, I like the way they look. Yeah. And so.
It's a good look.
It's a good look, dude.
Dude, I love it. Yeah.
Contrast.
What about like, you have like, I know you said you're into Mike Stud or Mike.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, the way I am, like, I have these like phases. All my close homies will tell you this, like, or my friends and family, like, I like will get really into something for like 3 or 4 months and like, dive into it like full like 1,000%, and then I'll just be done with it.
That's hilarious.
On to the next thing. So like, whether it's like fly fishing or skiing or like dirt biking or like an artist, like I'll be like all in. You know what I'm saying? Go to every concert. And then I'm like, all right, like that phase is done. Like I'm good. So like, yeah, dude, I like Mike. His name's Mike now. Just Mike. Just chill vibes these days, dude. Like it's kind of like that frat rap. Like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
that's
all
hilarious.
The boys listen to it, but
that's super cool. I guess I haven't been through the process yet, but like meals at BYU.
Yeah, so meals like during the fall, like during season, you get 3 meals a day. Okay. Right now, you have that swipe, right? That'll get you like like a bunch of protein, and then you have like your meal swipe. So like that's your fuel station. Is like we're talking like meals for like BYU, right? Yeah. We're talking like me just personally.
I mean both.
Both. Okay, yeah. And then we'll have like you can go eat anywhere on campus, and then they'll have just like a bunch of protein and like chicken and steak for you. So that's kind of that. But like for me, dude, like when I was really trying to bulk, like people don't realize, dude, bulking like sucks. Like it's not fun.
It's a job.
Like, dude, in 6-7 months, I went from 208 to 234.
Wow.
And like I went from like 14% body fat to like 11 from like the one Dan tells, like that's our guy at BYU. He says that. So it was like really tough. But like, dude, I would just like carry around boiled eggs with me. I was always just like chugging shakes, like anything and everything that had like protein on the back, I was just throwing it down. So, dude, it was good. Like, I'm glad I don't have to do it again.
Right.
Like,
What are you weighing right now?
I'm like 231, 232.
Is that like what you want to play at?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get faster this year. That's what.
Dude, that's the thing. Is everybody's like, from the outside perspective, everybody's like, oh, you're getting big. What do you want to weigh? I'm like, dude, I just want to be fast. Like, you make up for a lot. Like, I mean, you have like power from two things, right? You have power from speed and power from weight. Yeah. So it's like you can either be heavy and throw your weight around, or you can be fast and just fly around into people. I like flying around more, especially at safety.
And that's the way the game's changed.
Dude. Oh, 100%.
Speed matters.
Yeah.
And I think having weight, especially a backer in the front seven, dude, like being bigger helps with the durability. You can take hits. You're not getting injured as much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can take on O-linemen easier. You're not just getting lifted out of the air. Right. So like, I love being bigger at when I'm in the front seven. But like, oh dude, like when I was like 217, 250, oh, I felt so good. Dude, it's like, it's so nice being light. But dude, it's just it's just the dice. That's how the dice rolls when you play linebacker.
That's how it goes. Here's a question for you as we're wrapping up here. What's one thing you think most people don't know about you that they should know? Maybe not that they should know, but that they might want to know.
One thing they don't know about me is that I bought a house back in 2021 up on the hill in Provo, and like me and a few of my football buddies renovated the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So shout out Fisher Jackson, Jason Money, and Slade. Like, we literally went in, ripped all the carpet, we tiled the bathrooms, painted the house, like. We had to do a bunch of stuff to it, and like it was like we knocked out walls, rewired it, like going to Home Depot 2-3 times a day, like, and that was so dope. Like, I felt so masculine. I'm like, I'm the coolest guy around. I'm dogging. So that was dope. Not a lot of people know about that. So
did you flip it and sell it, or what'd you do?
So we live in it now.
Oh, you live in it?
Yeah,
now.
It's just a little rental property.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, like I live with John Nelson, Jason Money, and Ethan Slade. Jason played with us 2 years ago, but. Yeah, dude, like, it was so fun. Like, we threw a big party at it this past in October, like, for Halloween.
There you go.
But yeah, dude, it was so sick. So people don't know that, and so I'm like, hey, that's just something I enjoy, and so like I kind of want to do it again. I'm sure you're into that business of flipping houses.
Yeah.
You buy this house?
No, we're renting this.
Okay.
Dude, I'm into the rental car business. So I've got a couple of cars I rent out. Yeah.
Cool. So, how is that? I've always wondered.
It's good. Like, dude, I bought like a little, like, I don't want to call it a piece of crap, but it's like a 2012 Ford Focus. Okay. As base models you can get. Yep. It was like $9,500. Yep. And like cash flowed $500 last month.
Let's go.
So I mean, like, yeah, I just got into it a couple months ago, and so I think this month I'll add 2 more cars to my fleet.
Fire.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a way, like,
no, dude, that's
anything you can do to generate some side income is money.
Love it.
So
yeah, no, I just rented a car on tour out in California, and I was like, I should do something like this,
dude. Yeah.
Except my roommate Jason had his Tesla on Turo for a week. Didn't put the mileage didn't set a mileage. Remember, they drove that thing to Iowa. Oh. I was like, dude, they drove that thing to Iowa, bro. And he was like, because he went on a blitz to sell, and he came back, and he's like, you're kidding. Like, there's like 7,000 miles that just got added onto my Tesla. I'm like, oh, so you got to calculate your steps with that one too.
You got to, yeah, with everything. Are you a car guy?
I am.
What do you drive?
So I had a Jeep. I just sold it.
Okay.
So right now I'm just driving. My dad has a Defender. You know those like Land Rover Defenders,
yeah,
like the old, they got like the military seats in the back.
Yeah.
So I'm just whipping that around right now, but I'm trying to get a car right now.
Yeah.
So hey, if you're a dealership, you're listening, all right, hook the kid up, please.
Let's get Ben Bywater a little NIL
Get me
deal.
A car, please. I need it. I need all
Larry
help I
H.
can
Miller,
get.
come on now. No, that's dope.
Slow.
Sweet. Well, dude, it's been a blast.
Dude, blast.
It's been super fun. Thanks for coming.
This has been so fun, bro. Appreciate
Ben Bywater, everybody give him a follow. Ben by H2O on Instagram. You're gonna see him ball out. Another 100 tackle season coming.
That's the plan.
100%. All right, dope. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.